Hello, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a 5x5 mini album spread that I titled Chase Spring, and I'm using a paper pad from Craft Sensations, which is locally available in some places. So I am starting by just putting a lot of watercolor, light watercolor, on the background of the page, because that's basically I want to create a little bit of contrast, because I will work with a mat that is going to be like a lattice, like a see-through bit, and so I didn't want to cover up some pretty patterned paper, especially because I didn't want things to go too crazy on the page, and I felt that just giving it a little bit of color, that would work. So now it doesn't need a lot of time to dry, but while it is drying, I can start working on the other side of the page there. And it's from the same, I'm using papers from the same paper pad, but it has different colors, so I try to go with similar color schemes on each page. They're not really connected pages, but that's what I decided to go with anyway. So here I created 3 strips of paper that will go across the page, and this paper is actually a little bit thicker, so I didn't distress the edges in any way, because I felt there's enough of a bulk just from layering up papers on top of each other. So, and I tried to find a bit of contrast between the pages, so that or the papers that I used is what I mean, so a little bit of contrast there with the papers. And then I also used one of the papers to die cut this frame that I have that looks like a film strip, but rather than just always going with the black film strips, I just decided to use one of the very lightly patterned papers that came with this pack, and to use that for my pages there, or for my frame there. So I do glue the photo onto the frame first, because that makes it easier for me to put the frame in exactly the place where I want it to be, and so now I can manipulate the right place where to put the frame with a picture. And then I created these flowers, and I decided to have like a duo color theme there, using similar colors that are going on with the background paper. I also created this little circle there with a stamp, and just using one of my die cuts and just a simple stamp. And I felt that was a pretty nice little embellishment there, because this paper pad comes with no embellishments whatsoever. It's just a paper pad. And then so here I'm just creating basically a little visual triangle with the flowers, and that's kind of the look that I'm going for with this page. And then I also will then use some of my word strips there. I do share these word strips as freebie on my blog, MistyHilltops.com, and I think they always make some good extra embellishment on my page, so I am also adding them to this page right here. And all I do is I print them on heavy cardstock, and then I cut them and trim them apart, and then they're ready to use for my spring themed paper. I do create word strips for a lot of different themes, so it's not just tied to spring. So now I have this page pretty much ready, and so now it's time for me to work on the other page again. And at this point, the watercolor has dried, and now I have to just apply a lot of glue to this kind of lattice looking piece that comes from the Silhouette store. It's been in my library for a long time. It's actually from a card, like to make a greeting card, and it's a background there, and I just like to take apart the individual parts of this template, and then use the individual bits for cutting at some point. So here I am now putting that piece on the background there, and so with the blue watercolor, I find it makes enough of a contrast. And then there was this blue was with the same paper pad that I'm using on the other page, but it's really a different kind of blue. So then I created this little doily piece just using very simple copy paper and one of my doily dies. I have a set of small doilies, which I think is perfect for my little pages because most of my scrapbook projects are very small, and so I like it to have these little doilies there. I also created this frame, and I used a die for that, and then watercolored it with a darker watercolor. It doesn't exactly, it's not exactly the same hue as the light blue, but it is what it is. And then so that's what will go with the photo there. I made sure that I sized the photo for printing in that way. And I do print my photos from a Pages document because I can fit a lot of photos on there without needing any special software for it. Then I had already created this just cut with my silhouette this word Chase, and that watercolored it black, and then I created these little flowers. They are also die cut flowers, but the blue ones I just used a stamp set for this, or just a stamp. It's a little kind of plaid kind of pattern, not really plaid, but something similar. And then the other flowers, the gray flowers, are from washi tape. I just taped washi tape together, and I felt that was just exactly the right kind of contrasting color for my page there, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And so using washi tape sometimes makes very nice little embellishments on your pages there. So here I'm adding the little flowers, and then I also created this additional word spring. It's a stamp, and then I just cut it out and added that to my title, so it says Chase Spring. And then I am now adding my word strips again to this page as well. And you also see that there's that other circular element with the stamped just scribbling, and so I added that to both pages, except for this one I actually used snow white paper, whereas for the other page I used cream white for the cardstock to cut out with my dies. But anyway, these are my 2 pages done. I'm leaving you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.